Hello, I'm Cambridge Rory, or Cambridge English Teacher Rory from studentlanguages.com, and in this video I'm going to be marking an essay question that a student has sent to me. This is for the CAE C1 Advanced exam. So let's have a look. Question. Your class has attended a radio discussion on ways in which the internet has influenced our lifestyle. You have made the notes below. Ways in which the internet has influenced our lifestyle. Education, lifestyle, online shopping. Some opinions expressed in the discussion. Young people have never had so much knowledge and information available to them. It's far easier to keep in touch with friends and family. Our local shops are disappearing because of online shopping. Okay. Write an essay for your tutor discussing two of the ways in your notes. You should explain in which way the internet influences our lifestyles more, providing reasons to support your opinion. Okay, so these are the three notes. We need to discuss two of those. Explain which one affects us more, influences our lifestyles more, and provide reasons. Okay, so let's have a look at the answer. Internet and its aspects. So this is the original answer. I'm going to mark this one or make corrections and changes on this one. So as this is a title, I would probably put the its with a capital I and A with a aspects with a capital A as well, because it's the title of a piece, so it's better to capitalize it unless it's a connecting word or a preposition. In this day and age, that's good. That's a good first phrase. But after this type of opening phrase in a paragraph, we should put a comma. And then we should say the internet. The internet is one of the most common service. Okay, so if you say one of, then we should also put the noun in a plural form. So one of the most common services. Okay, so there's already some things I can add to the examiner's assessment scale template. So language. Just going to make some notes and then I'll expand it later. Missing article before internet. One of the most common service. So it's good to use these types of phrases. Good to use some less common words and phrases, even if they are not perfect. However, this is quite a common phrase, I would say, so this is the type of one we should really try to get correctly. A lot of students make this mistake, but still, I don't think it's a less common. It's quite common, I think. So. Typical error, but one that students should try not to make. Internet is one of the most common services that people use every day. Okay. Is it really so helpful and safe, as a lot of consumers say, or has it also a dark side? Okay, I'm going to make this writing a bit bigger and make it easier to see and to read. Is it really so helpful and safe, as a lot of consumers say? or has it also a dark side? Okay, I would change this to say, does it also have? And I would change so to say as here, as helpful and safe as. You can write so in negative versions, so for example, it's not so helpful and safe as, but in the positive, it's better to write as and as. Is it really as helpful and safe as a lot of consumers say? Has it also a dark side? It's not very good English. I think at an advanced level you shouldn't be making that type of mistake. So I'm going to make a note of that here. There are a few errors with some more simple grammatical structures. For example, has it also a dark side? Okay. Rhetorical question. Well, it's not a rhetorical question. I think that asking a question in an essay, personally, I wouldn't do it because I feel like it's a bit informal for an essay, which should be formal writing. Maybe I would change this to say, is it really as helpful and safe as a lot of consumers say? Or or, as many critics argue, perhaps it has a dark side, or something like that. Just to change the phrase to make it not a question. But I think it's okay. I think it's okay, actually. It's not an overly informal question, so you probably wouldn't get marked down for doing that in the exam. Like this. And the word consumers is quite a good word to use as well. I'll write that down here in language. There are some mistakes with some more simple words and phrases. Some more simple words, phrases, and grammatical structures. For example, and then I will combine this with this point up here. If I were a student today, I would be definitely grateful. Okay, I would probably move the be to after definitely. I would definitely be grateful. I would definitely be grateful for the opportunity of using the internet. For educational purposes. Yep. It has never been easier. It's a good phrase. And here you're using the conditional, which is good. Good use of conditional. It has never been easier. It's good to use some more complex grammatical structures. Also, even if they're not perfect, it's good to try and use them, but the ones you've used there are good. So, for example, it has never been easier. Good point. So at the moment, I'm thinking you've got some good stuff which is more complicated, you made a few simple errors, so I'm kind of thinking in the middle, giving it about a 3 right now. It has never been easier to search for particular information about any subject you currently need. I probably wouldn't say currently, because you're talking in a general sense, and currently in my mind makes it a bit more confusing. I understand what you mean. It might be better to say at that time, for example. Which is not currently, but it's at that time, whenever that time may be, in the future, in the past. I don't think it's necessary to say anything. I think you can just say about any subject you need, full stop. In the past, comma, put a comma, trying to find exact literature, good, in the library could have been time consuming. Good phrase, time consuming. Right down here. Nowadays, you just need a computer and access to the internet in order to work on your projects much faster. Yeah. This is probably what we call a slip rather than an error. It's just a one mistake which you accidentally make. It's not something that you always make. I think you know how to do this properly. And so the examiners will probably just ignore that. If it's something that you keep doing repetitively, then they know it's an error, and they know it's a gap in your language knowledge, for example. But here, I don't think it is that. I think it's just an accident. In order to work on your projects much faster. That is an enormous advantage. Yep, enormous, good word. Okay, so I just want to have a think about content now, just quickly, what we've got here. And communicative achievement, which is another marking criteria. See if we're answering the question. So let's go back up to the question. Ways in which the internet has influenced our lifestyle. Okay, so we're clearly talking about education. Right, and if you're discussing 2 of the ways in your notes, okay, so at the moment we're discussing education, you should explain which way the internet influences our lifestyles more. Okay, so we haven't got onto that yet. So we haven't got onto the second paragraph yet. Okay. And you're talking about this. Young people have so much knowledge and information available to them. Okay. So grateful for the opportunity. I think this paragraph is quite well developed as well. Grateful for the opportunity to have the internet. It's quite a general opening sentence, and then it gets more specific. You can find particular information. It's easier now than in the past. So, and that's an enormous advantage. It's quite a strong phrase to finish with, which I'm hoping might connect with this next paragraph, which we'll see. But for now I can say that it's addressing the question. This is just to help me a bit later when I finalize my answers. It's addressing the question, yeah. Covering the content. You have communicated well in the first paragraph. Using the internet for education is good. It's very useful. Let's see. Just notes, I'm not writing properly. Organization, yeah, that on a paragraph level, on that first paragraph level, it's been well organized. A general opening sentence before going into on an individual paragraph level. Okay, so initial thinking is it's good. Possibly a 4 so far. Possibly a 4 so far for that. Possibly a 4 so far for that. So, good start. Let's see if we can continue like this. On the other hand, utilizing the internet for everything can lead to negative results. Just, it's plural, so results is plural, so just negative, no article. Not only can you easily lose contact with the reality and damage your health. Yeah, with reality. Not only is a good phrase, also it's good for the grammar. Not only can you easily lose contact with reality and damage your health, but also there is a possibility that you would be deceived by some hackers. Yes, okay. I would probably say that you could be deceived by some hackers. It's a possibility. It's just water. Don't worry. There is a general perception that it is not happening so often. This is in general, so I think it's more appropriate to use present simple rather than present continuous here. It does not happen so often. But you would be surprised as passive. You would be surprised how many users have problems. Have problems with an S. So again, there's some small, simple errors here like this, which need to be cut out, and there's enough of them which is making me think that language is going down to a 2. Surprised how many users have problems with this dangerous phenomenon. Okay, the point is there. So the internet having negative results can damage your health, and you could get hacked. can be dangerous for you. So that, I suppose, is affecting lifestyle. I guess hacking could also affect your online shopping, because they could go and just buy things, for example, and spend your money. But the point you're making above, losing contact with reality and damaging your health, is about lifestyle. Yeah. I would maybe try and make it a little bit more specific that you're talking about the lifestyle point here. Maybe in this first sentence, utilizing the internet for everything can lead to negative results for your health, for example. I mean, you say your health here, but something just to make this a bit more specific to that point. Final paragraph. Well, not the final paragraph. It all depends on many facts. Yeah, many facts, or maybe it's more appropriate to say many factors, because facts is just a truth. 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a fact, but a factor is a bit more general. It's another way to say things. Sometimes it's difficult to think of a synonym for the word things, but factors can be a good one. It all depends on many factors. When you are careful enough, you should not have any problems with an S again. But if you are not, which in most cases people unfortunately are not, there is a strong likelihood that you might come across big problems that can actually change your life forever. Good, forever is one word. Yeah. Come across, nice phrasal verb. Yeah, actually in an essay, it's not great to use phrasal verbs. You haven't used that many, which is good, because phrasal verbs tend to be more informal. So, strong likelihood that you might come across big problems that can actually change your life forever. Okay. Yeah. Personally, I'm not sure if I agree that there's a strong likelihood, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the examiner agrees with you or not. What's important is whether or not you are explaining your points. So, what you're doing here is you're saying, yes, again, there are problems to do with the internet. And again, I think we could make this paragraph a bit more specific to the fact you're focusing on the lifestyle point here, just to make it obvious to the examiners that you're still addressing the question specifically. To sum it up, the internet is surely useful in modern society only if you know what you are doing. Okay. Yeah. I would probably try to make this a bit stronger in terms of talking about the education aspect more. And I would maybe even link it with this paragraph to more specifically compare education and lifestyle immediately next to each other. I think that would make a stronger conclusion. And that could fall under the organisation and the communicative achievement, actually putting your points across. So let's see what I can write about that here. The overall argument could be made clearer with a closer comparison of the two main ideas, education and lifestyle. This could the strength of these arguments could be enhanced with more specific language also. So going back to this, you have communicated your main argument for the positive aspects of the internet for education well. And maybe I would say, however, the overall arguments, the overall essay, the overall answer so the content is the content is addressing the question. So the content is related to the topic of the question, topic of the topic. The two main ideas have been discussed: education and lifestyle, or two of the main ideas, I should say, because there are three. Two of the main ideas have been discussed. Let's go have a look again. Okay. I think the advantages and disadvantages of both of the two main ideas have been they've been discussed. They've been some detail in their explanations. Go up and read the question again. So you should explain in which way the internet influences the lifestyle while providing reasons. What reasons have been given, I think, for both of these. It's easier, it's less time consuming for education, and it's dangerous. You could maybe be more specific in saying how is it dangerous? Like what could hackers do, for example? To me, talking about lifestyle, I suppose, is less to do with being hacked and more to do with this first part, which you talk about the reality and damage to your health. I think that's really what they mean by lifestyle. So I think that the second argument surrounding lifestyle could be developed in a different way to focus more on health and how it affects our everyday lives, rather than the hacking, which I think is a bit more specific. But reasons have been given in support of your arguments, which is good. Anyway, I'm not feeling, after the first paragraph I was thinking of 4, but now I'm thinking of 3, as I went through the rest of it a bit more. It's well organized on an individual paragraph level, yes. paragraphs are separated clearly. Clearly separated. Going back up to this individual paragraph level, I think that the again, the detail of what part you are discussing could be made clearer, but perhaps more so through the language, as I said earlier. I think that the last couple of paragraphs could be combined, and the two notes could also be combined and discussed in closer correlation to one another here. And I think that if you could do that, that would give you an extra point for organisation. There are some mistakes with some simple words, phrases, and graphical structures. For example, one of the most common service has also a dark side and negative results. Internet. It's good to use some less common words and phrases, even if they are not perfect. Consumers, time-consuming, yeah. Enormous. It's good to use some complex grammatical structures, yeah, which you have done. So good. There were good things and bad things, as I said, about the language. For that reason. I remember thinking actually that there were, unfortunately, enough things that put me off, or that made me think to knock it down a mark. But I think there's simple things that could easily be improved, which would knock this one up to a 3. I think it would be quite simple to do that, just with some small changes, or just reading over your work maybe. And because I think you probably know some of these small mistakes, and if you could improve them, push that language up to a 3, then you're passing. Very simply. So at the moment we've got 3, 3, 3, 2, if I remember correctly. 3, 3, 3, 2, yeah, which is 9, 11 out of 20. And you only need 12 out of 20 to pass. You actually don't need 12. If you get 13 in part 2, then you pass as well. You need to average 24 out of 40. Yes, that would be my advice. I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you in the next video.